Hello, marketers. Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at product life cycles. Yes, that fascinating look at how products evolve, where do they go, how long do they last, and, well, how do they die, really? All right, so make sure you get out your paper, make sure you get out your notes, make sure you follow the Storm philosophy, sit back, and enjoy. All right, so what are we going to look at today? Well, we're going to connect the product lifecycle back to the product development stages. Then we're going to take a look at product lifecycle on its own and identify the various 4 stages that the products will go through: introduction, growth, maturity, and retirement or decline. The whole idea of the product lifecycle is to look back to the product development. Product lifecycles start after we hit that last final stage of market entry. Once the product is launched in the market, then the product lifecycle will begin, and not until then. All those other stages need to be accomplished first. So once the product does enter the market, then the product lifecycle begins. And these stages that the product travels through goes from its very beginning, inception, to the very end. And it's a tool used by market professionals to understand the market, what's going on with their products, where is it heading as far as the product goes, and therefore can accommodate and change and modify the marketing mix. Why is it called a product life cycle? Well, think of Simba and the Lion King. The circle of life. Yes, the products go through a circle of life where it begins and it ends, and it will continue and start all over again. And products continue to travel through the product life cycle, and we'll see how they can do so. When it gets to its end of its life, what needs to be done for marketers to continue the life cycle again. So the 4 stages: introduction or birth, growth, maturity, retirement, or decline. And so how these 4 stages play out has to do with the sales, where the product starts, how it goes through the growth stage and sales increases, to the peak at maturity, to then the retirement and decline. Each of these stages brings with it a new set of challenges, a new set of expectations, and sales will occur in each of these stages at different rates. So let's take a look at the birth stage. The birth stage is also called the product launch stage. Now, this is a very expensive phase. Why? Because there's all sorts of high costs associated with the design, the manufacturing, the promotion, right? The manufacturing to make up a lot of inventory so that you can sell it for this anticipated demand. So all these costs really play a huge role here. Other costs also include that you have to come up with new packaging and new labeling and marketing research, right? Think about those product development stages. All of those are a part of this cost of introducing the product to the market. What you hope for, though, in the market introduction is that early adopters will catch on and buy your product first. These are people who look for new and exciting products. They want to be the trendsetters. They want to be the first ones in the market to buy the product and tell all of their friends. Think about those iPhone customers who line up days in advance for the newest iPhone. And connecting this back to what we've looked at before as far as push and pull strategies, marketers really try and do a lot of push and pull strategies during the birth stage, right? They're trying to create buzz for the product. So they push the product into the marketplace to get people seeing it when it's right in front of their face. They might buy it, right? So they're trying to obtain that preferential floor space right in the middle of the grocery store, right in at eye level. They're also trying to create advertisements that generate that buzz, right? Some new and exciting product commercials that you see on TV will always say new and improved or new and exciting or all these things. Samples, coupons, other promotional techniques are added to this as well to try and get people into the store, lure them in, and get them to buy the product. So a quick recap. Market introduction, high investment, therefore less profits. There's very minimal competition, though, as well, because there's not a lot of people entering the marketplace with the same product. So the company is trying to really gain acceptance and gain that initial distribution. Company needs a lot of both push and pull promotions, right? You want to target the customers to increase their awareness and buy the product. You also want to target the channel to increase confidence in the product so the stores will stock more. Which now brings us to the growth stage. Yes, you can see the sales starting to increase. So the growth stage occurs after these early adopters buy it and they start telling their friends, right? Word of mouth, viral marketing is so important in the growth stage. You want all these people who bought the product originally to tell their friends and say how awesome your product is, right? So all these other consumers are likely to follow those early adopter, right? So if your product is visible and it's out there in the daily lives of consumers and in the media, then you'll see consumers starting to buy it, and they'll see neighbors using it, they'll see their friends using it, and they'll buy more and more product. The growth stage is considered to be the most crucial stage for marketers because this is where the product's either going to catch on and be successful, or fail, #fail, right? So if the product is removed from the market before it has recovered those costs of production, that market introduction stage, then it's what we call a bust. Think of the Crystal Pepsi product that I told you about, or Arch Deluxe, or the DeLorean, or the IBM PC Junior, right? All these products never really recoup those costs of production. We call these products bust products. So again, some characteristics, some recap to the growth stage, right? Product is successfully launched. We're past that now. Now we're trying to see, and hope to see actually, that demand and distribution is going to increase. Competition, however, is also going to intensify because more and more competitors are going to enter the market. So the company might introduce secondary products or support services for their products to help consumers, understand their product more and use it more. And hopefully better revenue generation is happening and a return on investment is occurring. So sales are increasing, but they increase to a point and they hit this peak, and we call this peak the maturity stage. So when products hit the maturity stage, this is where sales really start to level off, right? They might still increase, but at a very slower rate. So marketers want to keep their brand out in front of the consumer and remind them as much as possible of their features, right? The utility, the lasting power of the product. They're not going to generate necessarily new sales. They really want to just keep those returning customers coming back and buying their product. And if you can somehow keep those customers coming back and buying your product, then this is where you're milking. Right? This is where you're milking that cow, that product that you have, and you just keep milking it, and that's all money in your pocket, right? Manufacturers have already recouped the major costs associated with the research, the development, the production. So any new costs are associated with distribution, and that's low. So companies are making huge profits during this stage. So if they can maintain that maturity stage over a longer period of time, this is where they can make some serious dough. So quick recap, competition, it is great, right? It's probably the highest that it's ever been because everyone wants to get in on this action and get all that money that you're raking in. The product is established, and therefore you don't really have to spend any more money on promotion, or less money I should say, on promotion. There's little growth potential as well for the product, so you're not really going to waste your time trying to figure out how to grow it more. You're going to use penetration pricing, and lower profit margins are a result of that. You're going to focus towards extending that life cycle, extending this stage, especially because you want to, again, maintain market share and capture all of those consumer dollars. And you want to convert any customers who are out there in the market that you operate in to your own product, so away from your competitors' products, so that you can, again, take in more and more profits. So you've maintained that maturity stage as long as you can, but now all of a sudden it's starting to decline. This is the retirement decline stage. This is when sales really start to decrease. So the decline happens as a result. Less and less people are buying your product. You're unable to find these new customers, right? So you've entered your retirement years. So this could be a temporary decline. It could be reversed, but in often cases it's pretty difficult to reverse that, right? So if your efforts are unsuccessful, if you can't reverse your decline, then you have to really look at yourself in the mirror. Are you going to redesign your product? Are you going to repackage your product? Are you going to reformulate your marketing efforts, right? So if you can't change it around, you have to think about doing something. And if you don't turn it around, what comes as a result? Well, unfortunately, this could be the end of your product's life. And so the decision point stage comes. So this is an extension of the retirement decline. So this is where you can do one of four things really. One, do nothing. Leave it alone. Maintain it, your product status quo. Hope that competitors exit the market. And then hopefully you'll capture all the customers who are left, and you'll have probably a niche market as a result. Two, reduce your marketing support. Right? Coast along until there's no more profit. Right? So you can't make anything else. You've reduced all of your costs associated with it, and therefore you're just waiting out the days until that time comes. Three, discontinue the product. Stop producing it. Stop making it. Right? If there's no profit that can be made, then it might be time to just end it. Or four, you could modify it. You could try and modify the product in terms of redesigning it, adding new colors to it, new packaging, relaunch it as new and improved, or maybe you do change the product in itself in some way and make it really new and improved. So there's one of four options that you can really look to do. And so when you stand back and look at the product life cycle, you see your introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. You see sales increase through each of these stages until maturity, in which it starts to come down. What you see though is that profits don't really start until the growth stage, and then they increase and then they start to decline as a result of the sales decline. So you can't expect profits right away, but what you hope to do is extend growth and maturity to such limits that you really milk your product and generate a lot of sales and therefore a lot of profit. So this brings us to the end of our video lecture. So I want you to do two things. First off, I want you to identify a product that you believe is entering that decision point stage. What would you do? Predict what a marketer would do, what the company would do. What might they do to change things, to turn things around? Would you do the same thing? And two, what is the main reason for discontinuing a product? Why is discontinuing a product such a problem for marketers? It's not easy. They don't jump to this right away. So why would they not do so? All right, so make sure you get your notes in order. Make sure you have followed the Storm philosophy, and we will see you all tomorrow. That's it. That's all.